Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of Pot Limit Omaha for Fun and Profit. Already got some tables running, so we'll just get right in the action. Table 3, I defend, and I'm going to check fold. My opponent checks back, and just check folding the whole way. My pair of eights. I'm playing a couple different PPP poker clubs at the moment. Got some 5-card Omaha on table 1. And on table 3 and 4, I'm in the Sands Club, table 1 and 2, in the Ship It Paula Club, Ship It PC Club. Playing Pilo 50-cent $1 on table 1 and 2, and 2040 pesos, Philippine pesos on table 3, which is about 80 cent, 80 cent big blind. Here on table 2, I'm actually going to fold this hand. I want to take a call, but it's not that good. The side cards aren't that good. We've got a very tight initial raiser. Not full stacked with him. 3 players left. Who could 3-bet, which would be fairly disastrous. So just going to pass. Wait for a better situation to come along. Would break the flop anyway. And yeah, so I just started this session. Basically, I have played with some of these guys before, so I do have some reads on my opponents. Table 2, definitely going to fold this very weak hand from middle position. King, Queen, 7-3. Very bad hand structure. In Omaha, you're looking for 4 cards working together. Here we've got 2 disconnected, 2 clusters. So definitely not the hand you want to be playing. Table 2, here we're getting a little closer. We've got okay connectivity, but you have to play pretty tight from under the gun, and it's a very weak hand. You also want to be careful about any hand that's got wheel cards, like the 3 and the 4. When in doubt, play tight. Tight is right. Overall, the action on PPP poker is very good. A lot of soft games. Highly recommend it, especially if you're used to playing on other sites. Here I was playing table 4. This guy sits down, very aggressive, probably a winning rake. I'm gonna pot my flush draw and double gut shot, mirroring the nuts is pretty nice. But again, I guess. Table 2, not going to defend. Ooh. The blocker play does not work when your opponent actually has the nuts. So table 3, I'm going to defend here. Checks, some bet fold. A little hesitant about making that play against such an aggressive opponent. It's just the way I like to play that hand in general. Table 2, we flop a big nut wrap. And I'm going to go ahead and lead a half pot. Like to get callers if possible. Don't mind building a pot here. So many nut outs. And then once the board pairs on the turn, I'm just going to check fold. It's fine. After getting raised on the flop. Before, I'm going to bet fold again. You don't want to fall into the trap of playing too passively against an aggressive opponent. That's how they win, how they get a strong edge against you. And I'm actually going to hit and run this guy because I don't feel that I do have an edge against him in heads up play. So. I mean, that hand should definitely be an open, but there's no shame in hitting and running. If you feel that you don't have an edge against your opponent, poker is all about getting the money in good. And he follows me here. I'll definitely be quitting him after this hand here. Table two, I'm not going to three bet. You can see this guy's got really tight passive stats. I do think my hand is strong enough to call. I've got a lot of nut potential. And I would definitely three bet this against a very loose aggressive opener. But I don't want to, with this hand, I don't want to isolate myself against a tight range. And I'd much rather you got these guys who are calling with very weak hands come in. I can gain a lot of value against them. They're going to flop dominated draws quite frequently. Table three, it's kind of close. Just going to open fold here. Table one, definitely not going to chase my what's basically a gut shot to the deuce. Three non-diamond deuces. So we're just going to fold that. Table four looks like another reg, though he's open limping, so maybe he's on the tight passive side of things. I like playing marginal made hands like this, or made hand draw combos like middle pair and gutty a little more aggressively. Basically the same situation, but worse position here on table three as the previous hand. So heads up play, you want to open pretty much everything. I think this is a pretty clear call against three bet, and going to fold a few bets the flop. No outs, nothing, no equity. Might actually fold this hand on table four to a raise. It's a really bad hand. I mean, the deuces are dangling, all blow cards. You're not really supposed to fold very often in heads up play, but also my opponent had already open limped, so it's possible that his open raise range is a little tighter than you would normally expect in heads up, which would not bode well. I'm just going to check fold table four. You have a pair and a gutter. Table two, opening here. Should open pretty much any double suited hand on the button. Table four, clear open here. Call a three bet if that happens. Just going to check back, give up. As this is one of the worst hands you can have on this flop, so I think it's fine to basically just give up on it. I would probably fold the river to a bet. I don't think this player is going to be bluffing that much. Table two, very nice hand to open here in what is essentially middle position. Going to call the three bet. This is a hand that plays very well against the three bet. And I'm going to check fold flop. Table three, opening on what is opening the button against a straddle here. Blinds and flopping two pair. I will bet fold. I think when your head's up, it is good to play marginal made hands like bottom two aggressively. bet folding them. And it's a board where he's got to be a little cautious. I am the pre-flop raiser, so ace, ace, king, king, ace, king are all possible, even though I'm opening the button, so they're a little unlikely. So one going to defend, even though it's a MP open, although not. It's through that. And table 4, clear check in the big blind. You don't really want to raise too frequently out of the blinds in Omaha. Because of your positional disadvantage, you need a very strong hand in order to justify raising out of the blinds. You can raise a little more liberally when it's just one late position limper like that situation was, but you still need a pretty decent hand to balance out your positional disadvantage, and not going to open this very weak hand on table 4 on the button. If I had a nut suit, even with 3 clubs, I would open it, but you can't just open every hand. You have to be slightly more selective. Table 2 here, so I'll open if it's folded to me, but if this guy even limps, I'll just fold. Of course, if he raises, I'll fold. I could see a case for over limping here. I think raising would be a mistake. Oh, there might be a case for over limping. Table 1, 4-way, I flop top pair and 8-high flush draw. Just going to check back. It's fine. Fold that. Can't really chase an 8-high flush draw in 5-card pillow. Table 2, I'm in the cutoff. I think it's close. It would definitely be an open on the button, but I'm going to opt for a little more conservative play and just open fold. And table 3, with the very weak hand with a big blind. Just going to check fold. Very, very weak hand, no suit, no connectivity, especially versus raise and 3-bet. Table 2, check my option and 4-way, just check fold to give up. Table 4, no open, blind on blind. I can just go ahead and check the flop. There's no real need to bet, and it's going to be tough to get value, I guess. You get called by a flush draw. And table 2, fold here. Table 4, going to go ahead and make an ISO raise with a decent hand. Great playability. I've got the button, and a lot of the time the limper will have a weak hand. With flop, just an open-ended, so check it back. Turn bet. Table 1, I would have defended, but even though it's such a tiny re-raise, it opens the door for the original raiser, and my hand's not really that good. I disconnected back. Table 3, picking up kind of marginal hand, but great connectivity. I'm in the cutoff, so I don't need to be that strong. You get 3-bet by the button, which is a little unfortunate, but I am going to peel a flop, or would have peeled a flop now that it's called 4-bet. Just going to fold. It'd be a very tricky flop to play if it was just a 3-bet. I mean, a lot of outs, but all very dubious. Two, not going to call here. Table 3, definitely defend or even raise after the limper. Sort of a deceptive hand. My opponent's not going to necessarily put me on low cards after raising. And definitely going to check back here. Got 6 not outs. I'm in position, so I'm less inclined to send me bluff. And also, if the turn does come at 7 of hearts, my opponent could start bluffing because the board's a little scary for my presumed hand. Leads out the river. So I'm actually going to make a smaller raise here. Table 1, 5 cards working together. Gonna raise. I find that when you river the nuts and make a pot-sized raise, you almost never get called. But if you make a smaller raise, you get called at a higher frequency. Like if he has 2-5 or something there, check that the flop. Table 1, basically whiffed. I make a straight on the river, which will just go down. Table 3, I completed, but I'm not going to call the raise. Yeah, it's too weak. 1 here. Little suited queen, so I guess I can make a loose peel in position. Very deep against this guy. And once he gets min 3 back, now I'm getting such great odds that I have to call again. Up here. And pull there. Table 4, so going to be opening with big wheel folds. Limps, I guess I can over limp. I go on the button, so want to play a little bit loosely. And flopping top pair open-ended, which I will check back if it's checked to me. Might peel first as a bet. I think it's close. I've got 6 nut outs, maybe some 2 outs. Very little of our stacks have been committed at this point. Table 2, flopping, bottom set. And go ahead and bet it. Putting the nuts on table 4. I will bet it. And still the nuts on the river, so go ahead and bet. Table 2, I'm actually going to fold here, even though my opponent has a tiny stack. I think I'm actually beat most of the time. Certainly, if we had like 60 big blinds backed up, I would definitely fold there. No questions asked. I think with his small stack size, it's pretty tempting. But a guy with these stouts is just going to have a higher set. Like we're king 9 with hearts, which is a flip anyway, like all the time. So even though SPR is pretty low, yeah, way the worst of it most of the time, or on net overall. Table 4, going to defend and auto check the flop. Kind of a weak hand, but defending against a button steal, you don't need too much to take a flop. And basically my plan there is to just check raise, get flops, quote unquote good flops, combo draws, 5s, that sort of thing. 3, I open, very nice hand on the button. Kind of a wet flop, but still going to bet fold. Or calls. And I will continue. Tend to bet folding. And I'm going to snap check the river. Fortunately, I lose. Table 2, a little bit too weak here. Will ISO raise on table 1 despite having 4 spades. I've got pretty nice connectivity in this player, very loose, 84% BPIP, but also raising a ton. So could definitely have some weaker hands that he would limp with. Check back the flop. Basically folding to any turn aggression as well. Hands very weak. Table 3, I prefer just a fold here. Oh, take it down. Middle pair. 5-card Omaha. Who would have thunk it? A 1, I'll go for kind of a marginal open. Having that suit. Some connectivity. I'm in the cutoff, so don't need to have that great a hand. And definitely checking back the flop here. Table 1. So many outs, not outs, that I would hate to get check raised. I also don't mind letting people see the turn with potentially dominated draws. Pretty clear call here, getting 3.5 to 1 with 10 not outs. So basically direct pot odds, and then also make some money on the river really deep. It could theoretically go back call, you know, somebody hits an inferior draw. Table 3 here, opening and flopping, very nice. Probably black call here. I wouldn't hate raise stack off. I think black call works well too. Table 4, picking up single suited kings with a small blind. And just going to complete because I'm out of position. And just going to call the raise. Auto checking the flop. In this case, check fold. Okay, well, we'll wind down the video here. Thanks for listening. Please do subscribe to our channel for more Pot Limit Omaha content. And if you want to share this video on social media, it would be greatly appreciated. Best of luck to you all at the tables, and thanks again for tuning in.